Alright, so we're out here working on the QX4 again, the wife's QX4, trying to get it to where it'll be a little bit better of a daily driver. There's some issues. Right now we're working on security stuff. The alarm will keep going off and trying to figure out why. Now there's some indicators on this vehicle as to why it's going off. So when you're driving, you accelerate, the dome light will come on inside the cab. And then also whenever you're turning to the right, it'll come on as well. Originally I thought it was the hatch because of whenever you're accelerating, it would pull the hatch backwards, or at least that was my thought process. It's pretty easy to test this stuff. This car, the security system basically only really cares about if the doors are open or if the hood gets opened while the alarm is on. So we're going to start there. It's pretty easy. I'll show you. All you really need is like a couple screwdrivers, flathead, Phillips, and then either some sort of hook like that, or if you have maybe like a paper clip or something that you can turn into a hook, that'd work as well. So let's I'll show you what to do and how you can kind of troubleshoot this and see if any of your door sensors are doing the same thing. This won't be really in-depth or guaranteed to work, but it may give you an idea of how you can test your doors to see which one is acting up or if your hood's acting up, but that one's a pretty easy one to. One easy thing to check is going to be, actually if you live in like Rust Belt, this screw is what completes the circuit. So if you take out this screw, it is going to break the circuit for this particular door sensor. And then if we grab a flathead screwdriver, these driver side door switches and passenger side door switches are a little bit more complicated, or a little bit larger than the ones for the back doors and the hatch. But there's just a little tab right there. You want to pull that up and push the connection out. Try not to pull on the wiring harness, but it's difficult to film this and do this correctly. There we go. Alright, make sure you push this in a little bit. The little hook that we brought over here, or if you want to use a paper clip, is so if that goes really deep inside there, you can still fish it back out. But we don't want to shut the door and it smash this little connection, so make sure it's just tucked in. It doesn't have to be perfect all the way, because I mean this thing sticks out quite a bit. So just make sure it's in there enough that if the door touches it, it's not going to smash it. Alright, so now that's disconnected, this is off, and I'll show you what this particular car is doing. So it's off. I'm going to close the car door pretty hard and watch that dome light. It'll illuminate for just like half a second. Do you see that? Now it can't be this door sensor that's causing that to happen. I'll explain why here in this next little segment. Based off that last test, we know, or one thing that we know, is that the driver's side right now isn't hooked up. The driver's side will work differently in relation to that light than all the other doors will. If you open up the passenger door and close it, the light will almost immediately turn off. The driver's side door is different though. Whenever you open the driver's side door and shut it, the light will stay illuminated for about 20 seconds. That way, if you're getting into the driver's side, you know your light will be on so you can fiddle with keys and put it into the ignition. It's supposed to work that way. So if you're like, well, my driver's side light, I shut the door and the light stays on for 20 seconds. That is normal. Don't worry about that. But this gives us an indication that whenever we shut, I mean, of course the sensor is unplugged right now, but since we shut that door and the light turns on and off, we know it's not this driver's side circuit that's causing that light to come on. So what you can do to help diagnose if you have a problem similar to this is you can open up the doors and you can undo one sensor at a time. So undo this sensor, then go and close the door and see if the light still illuminates. If it does, you know it's not this one, you can put it back in. And sometimes there's a possibility that, you know, there's a short not in this, but it's actually in the wiring. That's a possibility too. Keep that in mind. I already know which door this is because I've gone through this process now, and I'll show you what you can do about it. The back two doors, as soon as you take the screw out that grounds it, it will turn off the dome light because it doesn't complete the circuit. But since these passenger and driver side door have multiple cables, the grounding point, there's actually still a ground even if this screw comes undone. So let's undo this screw. The light will still be on here since it's grounding through another one of the wires in the system. Same thing. Just open that up. Pull that connection off. Make sure to tuck it inside. And now, sorry about that. Now we'll do the same test. We'll go around to the other side with the passenger side sensor not hooked up. Now we'll do the same test. We'll look to the light. Now the driver's side still isn't hooked up. That way it won't think this door is open. Now if we shut it again, we'll see if that light still illuminates whenever we shut it hard like it was doing before. And as you see, the light is no longer illuminating, which means either the adjustment for where the door is hitting is not correct, or it's a problem with that specific sensor. So I haven't figured out exactly what the root cause is, whether it's the strike plate, you know, the door sitting incorrectly here and not latching correctly, or if it's this little sensor or something, you know, in the wiring on this side. But this is just to help you figure out and kind of deduce where that's coming from. And I don't even know that this is going to solve the alarm going off. It hasn't gone off in a while. But the only other thing is your hatch. Sorry, excuse the mess. The hatch, if you want to get this off, you'll pop these little two covers off, two 10mm screws. Then you go around. I started at the bottom with an object and pry off the door panel. You will have to open up this glass in order to get it off because it kind of shrouds itself around. So you'll pull it up and out a little bit, the plastic. That'll give you access to your rear locking mechanism. It tells whether the back door is open through this latch. So there's two wires going to it. Actually, yeah, I think it's two wires. If you unplug that one sensor, you can figure out if it's this back dome light keeping it on. So, anyway, give that a try too. The only other thing is going to be hood, but as far as I know, there's not usually too many issues with the hood, but you can always try that too. The hood is easy to, it's going to be on this side, right underneath the hood. That's going to be really easy to unplug and test too. So, all right, one other thing while you're working on your security system, if you want to test and actually set it off and be able to test different components, but you don't want the horn going off because that's loud and obnoxious and nobody likes that, or if you just need to drive your car around for a little bit and your alarm is going off like all the time while you're in grocery stores and whatnot, you can pull out some relays. So you can pull out your horn relay if you need to. Now, mind you, you will lose functionality of two different things if you do this. Now, this relay is a lot harder to take off. I'll show you the easier one. You'll lose the function of your horn, of course, which is a safety issue, so I don't recommend doing this for a long-term fix. There's also your anti-horn fuse right here. Now this one is the 7.5 amp fuse right there. You can pull that. That will also do the same thing. Your horn will not go off. Your horn won't go off for alarm, but it also won't go off if you push on your horn. So you lose that, your horn functionality. You also lose your cruise control. I don't know why your cruise control has anything to do with the horn circuit, but it does. Just keep that in mind. But if you want to test and not have your horn going off and just have your lights indicating when your alarm's going off, you can pull the two fuses from, I would recommend this one. It's a lot easier to pull out. Either the relay over here or the fuse on this side of the engine. So hopefully this helped you out. Maybe it'll help you diagnose or at least understand the security system a little bit better in your Pathfinder. There aren't any glass break sensors or anything like that on some of the modern cars. So if you're thinking, well, maybe it's like loud noises or somebody bumping it, as far as I can tell, the main thing the security system cares about is whether doors are open or not with those little sensors. And then there is a body control or a body control module or security control module in there that could be your source of issues. I've also heard that the key fob sometimes can also cause the security system to go off if there's a short in the key fob that's sending an alarm code to the car to go off. And as far as the factory service manual, it says that if you hit the alarm button on your key, the alarm should go off for 20 seconds or 25 seconds, something like that. But if the alarm is going off because a door or something on the car triggers it, it'll go off for 50 seconds. So based on how long the alarm goes off, you can use that to diagnose it too. So there's that.